Hey makeup friends, today I'm going to do the My History with Makeup tag that was created by Lisa J, who also is the owner of BK Beauty. I recently saw my friend K Bella Beauty do this video and I wanted to do it as well. So let's get into this. As always, I want to start off by welcoming you back to my channel, or if you are new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Kara, and on my channel, we like to mix beauty, brains, and the occasional F-bomb. The eye makeup that I'm wearing is from the Passion in Paris palette from Adept Cosmetics, and on my lips, I have one of the liquid lipsticks from the Lip Bar in the shade Crown Me. Alright, this tag has 10 different questions to it, and it just really kind of spoke to me. I just really enjoyed the questions that are included in here. It made me think about my own personal history with makeup. So let's just dive straight into it. The first question is, when did you start wearing makeup? Now, I think I need to put a little bit of context around this. I went to high school in the 90s, I did my undergrad in the early 2000s, and then I went to law school straight after that, graduating in 2007. So that is sort of the time frame that we're working with. Now in high school, I didn't really wear makeup, hardly at all. I might have had like a lip gloss and maybe a mascara and an eyeliner in my collection, and that was it. And even at that, those were hand-me-downs from my mom. I never bought makeup. It just wasn't on my radar at that time. Same with going into my undergrad studies. I didn't really wear makeup. I remember I had a lot of those little glitter gels that I would put all over my temples if we were going out to the club or something of that sort. But that was basically the extent of it. Again, maybe a lip gloss, but that was about it. I didn't really buy makeup, and I certainly didn't have any eyeshadow palettes at that point. Moving into my law school, bringing me up to the age of about 25-ish or so, that's when I started dipping my toe into the world of makeup. But even at that, I would buy a couple of things and then they would just kind of sit there, and I never really used it all that much. I didn't use it for going to class, but if we were going out to dinner or to the bar or something of that sort, that's when I would reach for some mascara, some eyeliner, maybe a little bit of eyeshadow, and that was about it. So that takes me out of the world of university, and then I'm into the working world. And even at that time, I still didn't do an awful lot of makeup. And I certainly wasn't knowledgeable on makeup at all. And because I didn't know anything about makeup, I would just buy it from like Claire's Accessories or something of that sort. Like I didn't want to invest a lot of money into it. And so I kind of self-perpetuated it because I kept thinking well, makeup is really not all that exciting. And it was because I wasn't buying quality items. And even at that, I didn't know how to apply it in any event. So the little sponge applicators that came with it, those were my brushes. That was all that I used. I didn't really know what all the brushes were, what they did. I didn't know what highlighter was or anything of that sort. I didn't even really know what blending was. So I would just pick the shade that I liked. If I got like a quad, I would just put that all over the lid, and that was my eyeshadow. So that was about the speed at which I operated until about 2012. I remember I had my daughter in the spring of that year. I was off for a few months with her, and when I was returning to work, I was going to be returning every other day. So one day I would be working from home, just doing drafting work, and on the days that I was in the office, I was going to be doing a lot of face-to-face interaction with clients. And so I decided I wanted to put in some effort into my appearance, and that's where I started learning about makeup application and different brands, different tools, all of that kind of thing. And that was the start of the slippery slope that led us to where we are today. I've inadvertently answered the second question while answering the first. The second question is, why did you start wearing makeup? And it really was just because I was going to be having so much face-to-face interaction with people. I really wanted to put in the effort into making myself look as presentable as possible and just to boost my own self-confidence in that way. It wasn't really for anybody else's sake, it really was for my own, but I figured if I'm only doing it every other day, it's not a huge investment of time. I giggle at how naive I was because here we are, but that was the whole motivation behind it, was just to basically make myself feel a little bit more polished and put together. I've also inadvertently answered question number 3, which was, who was your first makeup inspiration? And that would be Jaclyn Hill. She was the first one that I found on YouTube. And in fact, I didn't even find her on YouTube. I found her on Pinterest. For the life of me, I don't know what I was searching on Pinterest that one of her tutorials popped up, but that's what it was, and I quickly fell down the rabbit hole. I had no real idea what YouTube was at that time. I was aware of it in theory, but I never spent any time watching it, and I certainly had no idea what the beauty community was or what beauty YouTube was. Enter Jaclyn Hill. So I have to give her credit as one of my very first makeup inspirations. The fourth question is, when did your passion for makeup start? And I really can't think of any defining moment for me. It was a bit of a slow burn, but certainly discovering beauty YouTube opened up this whole new world for me. To that point, it had just been buying quads at Shoppers Drug Mart or Walmart, picking one, maybe 2 shades, and doing the best that I could with the little sponge applicators that came with them. Learning about the proper techniques, learning about different ways of structuring eye looks, it just opened up this creative world to me that I was completely unaware of, and that is what sparked the passion for me. I don't view myself as a particularly creative person in the sense that I don't draw, I don't write, I don't do things of that sort. I've always been more musically inclined than anything else, but even at that, I don't compose music, I don't play in a band or anything of that sort. But this was just an outlet for me. This gave me something that was mine. This gave me my own time. This let me create and explore that side of myself. It allowed me to play with color and just create different things out of basically nothing. It opened up a whole world to me for self-expression and for just, again, making myself feel pretty. But it opened up this world to me, and then finding more and more beauty content creators. It was just this whole world that I did not even know existed, but that I felt like I belonged to. And that really sparked the passion for me. And that passion is carried through all of these years later, where I still just get excited to try new products, to play with new formulas, to try out different techniques and new eye shapes. For example, the eye look that I'm wearing today, I really don't know that I've ever used a liner in like a cut crease kind of way before, but it was just something to play with. And even as I sat down to do it, I thought, well, if it doesn't work out, I'll just wipe it off and I will go to something that's a bit more in my wheelhouse. But I think it turned out. It's certainly not like Instagram perfection, but it's good enough. And it was fun to create it. So that's the part that I really love about makeup. There's 2 aspects, really. One is the creativity that it involves, but also the community. I truly love this beauty community. And before I get too far into it, I'm going to just double check the questions because they're very well, yep, there is a question that this is going to tie into far more aptly than this question. So we'll put a pin in that and circle back. Question number 5 is, what led you to start a YouTube channel? And it was something that I had kicked around in the back of my mind forever, and I was very nervous to do it because I just thought that I would get a lot of negativity. I didn't feel confident in myself, in my own appearance, in anything of that sort, that I didn't feel like I was qualified. But it was around that time that I started to see a bit of a shift in the beauty YouTube world. It wasn't all makeup artists. There was a lot of smaller creators entering the scene who just had this passion for makeup. And that's what really made me feel comfortable. Because up until that point, I was wondering, what could I bring to the table? I'm not a trained makeup artist. I don't have any experience in the industry. What could I possibly bring that people would even care about? And then I realized they care about makeup. That's it. That's my gateway. I care about makeup. We already have something in common. And so after much debate, I finally decided, let's just do it. Let's start a channel. Let's see what happens. And honestly, my goal was to hit 100 followers. That was like the pinnacle to me. Like if I could hit 100 followers, that would be mind-blowing. And as I sit here today, I am like 15 subscribers away from 10,000 subscribers. And that blows my mind. It's an inconceivable number to me. And God only knows where it's going to go from there. Who knows this time next year what kind of number I'm going to be looking at. But I really had humble starts at the beginning. I didn't expect this to go anywhere, but I just wanted to try it. I wanted to join this community that I loved so much. And now looking back, I have zero regrets. And in fact, I just wish that I had started it earlier. Question number 6 is, how has your makeup evolved over the years? And I think I've already kind of touched on that. It started off very, very basic. I would use a bit of a pencil liner, but I didn't really know what I was doing with it. I had no idea how to use liquid liner, and any time I did try to use it, it just looked so harsh along my lash line that I just wasn't used to seeing myself in it, so I just shied away from it entirely. I had no idea how to blend shadows, so I would just put one all over my lid and that was it. There was no like transition area. I had no idea what that was. I didn't know what a crease was. I didn't even know that you could line your lower lash line, so I never did that. I did not know how to apply makeup. I didn't have bronzer. I didn't have highlighter. I might have had a blush. I think I used to get like the blushes like from Clinique that would come like gift with purchase. Like my mom would buy a skincare item from Clinique and get like a free blush and a free lipstick, which meant that I got a free blush and a free lipstick. Like that's how it worked. So I wasn't even choosing the shades. It was just whatever they happened to be giving away. That's what I used. But even at that, I didn't know how to apply this stuff. So I would just slap it on any old way and call it a day. Over time, obviously, I have learned different ways of application, and I'm still evolving in that sense. I think I've definitely evolved more towards a more classic style of makeup where it's not super trendy or anything of that sort. Ignore the cut crease today. But in my everyday makeup, it is very neutral. It is very sort of soft glam. That's what I just tend to lean into in my everyday life. For filming purposes, for Instagram, it's totally different. But everyday makeup tends to be a bit more on the soft side, a bit more neutral, and yet it still just makes me feel pretty. It just enhances what I'm already working with. That kind of leads us into question 7, which is, what is your go-to makeup look? And on a day-to-day basis, it is going to be a neutral eye, a little bit deeper on the outer corner, a shimmery shadow over the inner portion of my lid, a lighter brown in the transition area, black liner, not always winged. Sometimes I'll do wings, but most times if I'm just going to work, it's just a line across the lower or the upper lash line just to deepen things up. Mascara, there it is. Like that's the go-to look. Bit of a bronzed skin with some blush, a little bit of highlighter, good to go. Lipstick varies from time to time. Sometimes I will wear a really bold lipstick. A lot of times I just wear very neutral and soft, but that's sort of the classic look that I go for. You will have seen that on my channel over and over again. It's my wheelhouse. It's where I feel comfortable. And it's just a look that I really enjoy. I love a good neutral eye look. So that is my go-to. Now, remember I said a little while ago that we were going to circle back to something? This is it. Question number 8 is, what has been the best thing about starting a YouTube channel? And absolutely no hesitation, it's the community that we've built. And I say we intentionally. This isn't just my community. This is us. I would just be an island unto myself if you guys weren't clicking onto the videos, if you weren't leaving comments, if you weren't responding to other people's comments. You guys make the community. I'm just sort of the catalyst, if you will, for it. I'm the one who sits down and talks at the camera, but you guys are the community, and this would not be fulfilling at all if it wasn't for you guys. And I every now and then I'll put little community posts up and I just get like super mushy in them and then I feel kind of embarrassed, but I genuinely thank you, each and every one of you, from the bottom of my heart, because this has brought so much joy to me. This has brought just this element to my life that I never knew was out there. The community that we have here, like it's a beautiful thing. Remember I said I was really nervous to start a channel because I thought I was just going to be faced with like a never-ending stream of negativity. I've had a few negative comments over the years, of course, but vastly outweighed by the positivity. I genuinely love you guys. Like I don't even, oh my God, I'm going to get emotional. I didn't expect that. There have been so many things that I have shared on this channel. Oh my gosh, I'm emotional. I've shared everything from health scares with my son to my own journey towards better health. And that has been another aspect that has just been incredible. sharing my weight loss journey and talking about my surgery has just, it's been incredible. Like, you guys, you're so supportive and so wonderful. And the people that I've met through that particular sort of playlist of videos has been incredible as well. Like, I get DMs, I would say almost daily, from people who thank me for sharing, who just appreciate the honesty that I've put out there. And I did that very intentionally because I watched a lot of gastric bypass videos and I just wasn't finding the depth that I wanted. That's not to take away from other creators who have shared their stories. That's not to say that they're lying or holding anything back. I wanted the true raw experience, warts and all kind of deal. And I wasn't finding that. So I made the conscious decision to do that, to share the negatives, to share the positives. And of course, anytime you talk about weight or anything of that sort, you open yourself up to criticism. And of course, I've had a few negative comments. But again, even the people who that's not their journey, who aren't worried about weight loss or anything of that sort, even you have still left positive and uplifting comments for me. And I've just, like I said, I've just shared so much on this platform and you guys have consistently been kind to me. And I'm so appreciative of that because it's just, I feel safe sharing stuff online. Like, yes, I feel vulnerable with certain things, but I still feel safe. Like, I feel like I have this core group of friends who are there to support and who are going to treat me with kindness. And that's why I try to be kind back. I try to embody what it is that you guys give me. And this whole be a decent human being thing, like, you guys are an army of decent human beings. And I'm just so grateful. And I'm so lucky to have the community that we have here. And I honestly don't know what else to say, but that truly has been the best thing. I mean, the friendships that I've made, just the overall experience has been so wonderful. I mean, you guys, you care about my kids, you care about my husband, you friggin' love my husband, which is awesome because I love him too. I think he's awesome. But just like, you guys just welcome me into your hearts and it's so humbling. It truly is. And again, I'm getting incoherent. I'm not expressing how I feel because I don't know the words to express that. But 100% the best thing about starting this channel has been you guys. It truly has. Okay. Didn't expect a reaction. I'm glad I didn't cry though, because I spent way too long on this makeup for it to be ruined with tears. So let's move on to question number 9. Which is, if you could give one piece of makeup advice, what would it be? Honestly, it's just play. That is my advice. Just play with makeup. Honestly, if you are afraid of wearing color, but you appreciate it on other people, buy a colorful lipstick. You don't have to buy a $50 lipstick or anything. Go and get a Maybelline lipstick in a shade that you love. Just wear it around your house. Get used to seeing yourself in the mirror in it. And it's going to help take away some of that self-consciousness of it. Just play. It washes off. No harm, no foul. If you hate the look, no one ever has to see it, but just have fun with it. Don't worry about rules. Don't worry about, you'll hear me say, I think this would be a perfect fall palette or this is perfect for summer. That's just my own personal preferences. There are no rules. As Robert Welsh says, there's theory, absolutely, but there's no rules with makeup. If you want to wear black lipstick, black eyeliner, the wings, the whole deal all summer long, fucking go for it. There are no rules. Do what makes you happy. Push your own envelope because you never know just how flexible your comfort zone is until you try to stretch it, but just play and have fun with it. And that is going to take us to the last question, which is, if you could do an in-person event with your community, what would it look like? It would probably look like a lot of tears on my part because I would just be so overwhelmed and yet so happy and so humbled and moved and just all the emotions that I don't even have words for. That would be it. It would also probably be a lot of dry heaving and panic attacks on my part leading up to it. Social anxiety is a real thing. I have it hardcore. I would know that I was going to have fun and it's something that I would want to do, but like I'd be throwing up in the back of my throat a little bit leading up to it. If I'm being perfectly honest, I would be a nervous wreck, absolute nervous wreck, because I would be, first of all, terrified that there would be a ton of people there, but I'd also be terrified that there'd be no people there. So, but in terms of the actual structure of an event, if I was ever to throw something like that, I would want it to be like a low key, like barbecue at a park kind of deal. Like I'm not going to be the person who charges like $300 a head for you to watch me on a stage and then pay extra to get my autograph. Like that's not the life I'm living. And that is not the way that I would want to give back. You know what I mean? Like that always just like blows my mind when people do that. I'm like, you're capitalizing on the community that's already built you up. I don't jive with that. That is not what I want. I would just want something really low key. I don't want to be like sitting at a table and just signing autograph and like super impersonal or anything of that sort. I just want to like hang out. I view you guys as like a group of friends, as I've already established. That's what I want. I want to hug you. I want to talk to you. I want to see the face that goes with the name. I just want to like chit chat about anything and everything. That is the kind of event that I would want to do. So maybe one day it'll happen. Who knows? But that's the kind of event that I would want. All right, and those are the questions. Again, this tag was created by Lisa J here on YouTube, owner of BK Beauty. I think it's such a great tag. I really want to see other people do it as well. I'm not going to tag anybody in specific, am I? Yes, I am. I'm going to tag my pals, Heather Austin, Karen Harris, and Angelica Nyqvist. I am going to tag them. Hopefully they will get around to doing this one as well because I would love to see their answers. But if you have a channel, I would love to see your video on this as well. So let me know down below if you do it. If you don't have a channel, feel free to pick a question or two and put your answer down in the comments as well because I'd love to read those. But with all of that said, I'm going to wrap the video up here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Thank you so much for being a part of this incredible community, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.